Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I'm a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. Today on Races of the Worlds, we're going to introduce you to an interesting little crew called the Kinlar. Now, from your standpoint, essentially they look like very, very large rats. Okay, they are bipedal. Their hands they're more akin to a raccoon's in a lot of ways because they do have a little bit of webbing in between them. Okay. They don't use the webbing for much. It just seems to be the way it grew. And it does help with the time they spend in water because these guys do spend most of their time on land. But they use water as a way to get away because where they live, quite frankly, the plants are just as deadly as the other creatures. Okay, sometimes more so. Okay, now let's start at the beginning of it. We are dealing with the Kinlar, which they range in color from white and black to tan, sometimes to almost a straw-colored yellow. Okay, they are furred all the way across. Okay, aside from, as you can well imagine, the tails are not furred. Okay, they do have their tails, on the other hand, much like a pteron opossum, they do have a prehensile tail. Okay, a lot more prehensile than it's not used for just grabbing tree branches. It can be used for picking up tools, for working on extra projects and what have you. They are, like I said, they're only about 3 feet tall. Okay, they are omnivorous, which means they will eat meat or plant life. That either one doesn't matter. They will eat pretty much anything. They have been known to eat carrion as well as be carnivorous. They are also somewhat cannibalistic. Now, the dangerous part with them, okay, humans call them a rodent. Okay, they do not have ships of their own. Fortunately, the other races, because of the aggression, the high level of aggression of the Kinlar, as in when they will fight with each other quite readily. Might is right is very much the way their mentality works. Okay, and that includes when they're going after a hunt. If they're working as a clan, like they do cooperate in families, but their families tend to run somewhere between 50 and 100 people. Okay, so clan or family, same idea. They will defend each other from other aggressors without even thinking about it. But let's not kid ourselves. They are violent in the extreme, meaning when they get into a fight amongst themselves, there's none of this issue where you see with many animals on Earth. They'll fight to a standoff, and one of them will often walk away. With the Kinlar, there is no fight to a standoff. If you get into a fight, that fight is going to be to the death. Somebody is going to die. Okay. Now there is a written rule there, quite literally written, that if somebody calls somebody out, if one Kinlar calls out another Kinlar in a combat, nobody, including the matriarchs, can step in to stop that fight. Once that challenge has been uttered, no one can step in. Okay, and the conflict ends when one of them is dead. This said, if one Kinlar attacks another Kinlar without making an official challenge, everybody in the neighborhood is more than welcome to jump on the one starting the fight. Okay, when you're looking at the hunting procedure, okay, when they go out on a hunt, many times Kinlar will kill each other to get the glory of the hunt, to get the glory of the final kill, which is probably, in most human standpoints, probably not a really good thing. Okay, but it might explain why many of the Kinlar are feared by the other races, because they don't stop. They are very much, once they get in their mind that they're taking something down, they will fight tooth and nail. Okay, now, here's the dangerous part with them. The other part of the dangerous part is if you've got two clans of Kinlar that are fighting each other, and another adversary shows up, a common threat, the Kinlar that are already in the battle will immediately stop fighting each other, and they will turn around and they will take care of the predator that they're dealing with, of the adversary or the problem that they're dealing with, including if there's a natural disaster. If they're fighting amongst themselves and a forest fire breaks out, they will quit the fight. It's nobody asks for it. It's like, okay, call a truce for now. It stops and the fire is dealt with. Of course, the drawback there is they are so single-minded that once the fire is dealt with or once the adversary is taken care of, they will turn on each other once again. Okay, sooner or later the fight will stop. Usually it means one of the groups has either run off and gone, no, I'll get back at them later, or more often it's just because they're dead. Because of this level of aggression, the other members of the Galactic Consortium do not permit the Kinlar to colonize. Okay, they never, ever, ever permit the Kinlar to colonize, unless it's going on to a completely uninhabited world where no other sentient race has been found. Okay, and they will do extensive studies to look for a new planet for the Kinlar. Now, understand, because of their aggression, the Kinlar did not, much as they are technologically capable, okay, they are not focused enough to really advance the technological level. The Kinlar, that being said, are not the dominant race on their planet. Okay, they are simply one of the most prolific. Now, where they happen to live, and you'll love this one, they live on Zeta Reticuli. They are on the same home world that the Greys are on. Okay, now the neat little part is because the plant life there is so volatile, is so dangerous and so prolific. Okay, they reproduce, the Kinlar reproduce very quickly, but because of the dangers on the planet itself, their population is kept in check. But when they do get a chance to get onto a ship, they will not sneak on again because they don't cooperate well, because they are so aggressive towards each other. You won't get them trying to commandeer a ship. You'll get individual stowaways. Okay. Now, don't panic on it. They don't have the drive. Because of their mentality, they don't have the drive. Even the few that are here on Earth don't have the drive to mobilize the other rodents that are here. Because think of it. They go, do this. If they get word one of an argument or lack of response, then they will kill the one that they're trying to get to do something. Cuts down on their ability to actually organize any sort of a group here. So they are forbidden. They are not let colonize anywhere. They are permitted to travel, but it is usually done as solo. Okay, they're solo explorers because they're out there to do their own thing. Okay, now the Kinlar do worship one god. Okay, now they worship a god. Sorry about that. They worship one god, whom they call. Well, technically, they worship two gods. Okay, the mother that they worship is called Kretal. Okay, now Kretal is the name of the Caboran they live on, of the planet they live upon. Okay, and Kretal, they worship her. They do their own thing with her, and I'm not going to go into the rituals and what have you. They also worship who they call Source. Okay, Some of them call it Source, some call it the Prime Creator. Okay, they do believe in him. Okay, but they worship Creto. Okay, and they now, for those of you to put that in perspective, on Earth, people that worship who we call Mother Nature, Gaia, her name is Itza. These people, the Kinlar, worship Creto. That is the name of the Caboran they live upon. Okay, and we'll get to the Caboran at another time. Okay, but when you're dealing with them, they, like I said, the Kinlar, a couple of things to keep in mind regarding the Kinlar. Their specialty is stealth. Okay, they are very quick. They are combat technologists. In other words, they will take something. They take trinkets. They take junk that they find, and they will turn it into a weapon. Because the saying "all men are created equal," well, as the Kinlar have discovered, the fact they're only 3 feet tall and essentially lightly built. Okay, there are many races that are stronger than them, many plants that they deal with that are stronger than them, and are downright deadly. So the Kinlar have learned to be extremely fast, extremely good at the technological side of things. Now, the neat part with them being technologically oriented, they don't have their own technology. On their own world, they operate with natural weapons, natural defenses, natural being, sticks, stones, traps, deadfalls, this sort of thing. Okay, or the speed. They'll go running straight for the edge of a cliff, and this is where those tiny little fans in their hands do come in. Okay, much like a flying squirrel. Okay, like a Terran flying squirrel. They've got the webbing in the hand, in between the fingers, right? They've also got webbing underneath the arms. So when they jump out, they can glide a very long distance. They do not actually fly. Okay, but they can get a phenomenal distance because they can go. The thing is, they can be running along the ground, and when they jump and spread their flaps, they can actually fly upwards as much as 60 feet. Okay, from a running start on the ground. Yes, they've got to get running, but because of the fact that they understand the air currents and what have you so well, okay, they are extremely agile in the air. These are fighters that make Terran Hawks look really, really slow, because these guys will turn around and go the other direction without any banking. Because what they do is they'll fold their flaps up and then then turn around in mid-flight and open up again. Net result, catching the wind and going the other direction. These guys are phenomenally quick. If they do once in a while end up getting into a ship, but understand, they themselves do not build ships. Because they come from Zeta Reticuli, some of the people that they deal with do build ships. Okay, they're designed for the Kinlar. Now, even if you were small enough to get into a Kinlar ship, okay, into a Kinlar scout ship, number one, you couldn't run it. Humans are not physically built that way. Kinlar have 4 feet, have the 2 arms. Their feet don't work well as hands, but they are great for pushing pedals and buttons. Okay, and then they've got that prehensile tail that they can use as well. So their ships are built with a 5-point acceleration unit. So needless to say, you get one that's wounded, he ain't going to fly a ship. If you take off one limb, that ship isn't going anywhere at the hands of a Kinlar. But here's the thing. The ships of a Kinlar, yes, they're heavy, they're solid as all get out. Picture, if you will, flying a cannonball. But a cannonball that is about 3.5 to 4 feet in diameter. Okay, these things are built for ramming. Okay, and that is one of the big things that they adjust regularly, is they've got shield, they've got actual energetic shields capable of punching, because it's an oscillating shield. It'll cut right through most of the technological shields that are out there. Okay, most shields are not designed to handle Kinlar capability, but understand they're guarded very carefully. The one thing about the Kinlar that is very similar to humans is that as much as humans are aggressive, Kinlar make humans look like absolute diehard pacifists. Okay, now don't kid yourself. This does not mean they war with each other. This means that if you're out there hunting and another Kinlar comes along looking for food and spots that you've got a kill on the line, that second Kinlar will take out the first Kinlar that made the kill in order to take the kill from them. Okay, now how's that for greed? And humans I've talked about the greed of humans before. They've got nothing on the Kinlar, but the funny thing with the Kinlar is they're not interested in the material stuff. They're interested in showing that they are better. Hence the concept, taken to pretty much an extreme, of might is right. But they are a matriarchal society. Okay, they absolutely bow down, if you will, to the female, to the mother. Okay, and of course, the mother of a clan or the mother of a family will bow down to whatever Cretal says. If Cretal says this is what we're doing, and that's where the real catch comes in, is if Cretal were actually of that inclination, she could actually unite the Kinlar in a heartbeat by simply going, you're now working with each other. If not, you're going to be eradicated. Now, the neat little part, much as with Esau, with Earth, and she communicates with all the plants and animals on Earth. Okay. Cretal, on the other hand, commands an aggressive plant life and animal life. Okay. And as you know, I am working and I have decided the Kinlar are one of the next batch of 5 races that I'm getting my artists to do for Races of the Worlds. Okay, I've already decided that's one of the races I'll be dealing with. As I said, they are extremely aggressive. Okay, but with that in mind, they are still even on their own, even only being 3 feet tall, they have natural weaponry, obviously. Their talons on both their hands and their feet. They don't wear shoes for obvious reasons, but their hands and their feet have very sharp talons. They're not very long. I mean, these guys are only 3 feet tall. We are not talking like Wolverine type claws that stick this far out of the forearm. Okay, we're talking talons, if you will, more along the lines of Sabretooth if you happen to be an X-Men fan. Okay, they are retractable, much like a cat's, where they can pop the claws out, right, and then the claws will come out, about that far. Basically, it's the length of the knuckle of the first joint. It'll come out about that far, and away they go. Okay, but the other thing that you have to remember with Kinlar is they don't have only 3 joints. Like humans have 3 joints in the finger. Kinlar have a 4th. Okay. And it's that 4th joint that houses the talon. So when they get into a conflict, there are a couple of things that happen. One, their talons will come out. Number 2 is because they've got an elongated jaw, they've got obviously the longer set of teeth. But there's a secondary set of teeth, much like a shark's teeth, except for one little detail. When they go into full combat mode, this second set of much sharper teeth and slightly longer will drop down, much like popping out claws. They will drop down the teeth for combat. And then we have that neat little problem with the prehensile tail, which is, the tail is dexterous enough to pick up a matchstick off the ground, okay, or a toothpick off the ground with its just with the tail. Okay, because what it does is it slips the edge, the tip of the tail, which is really fine, underneath the edge of a toothpick, and then flips it up. Now, and then rolls it up in the tail. They can also, because of the dexterity level, they could, if they really wanted to, use a toothpick to pick the stuff out of their teeth. And rest assured, you don't want to get bit by these guys. They aren't poisonous per se, but they aren't the most hygienic animal that I've ever seen. Okay, so you are dealing with a lot of there's a lot of conflict that the thing with getting bit by them, or for that matter, getting scratched by them, is they carry a lot of they carry a lot of bacteria with them. Okay, because like I said, they eat what is it called? Detritus, I think. I should look that name up just on principle, and I've got it right here. Anyway, let us see here. Races of the World, Volume 2. Just scanning up to make sure I got the right name. I believe it's called detritus, but I just want to make absolutely certain. Where are we here? PQ comes before that. We're getting right up to it. There we are. Well, those are close, but not the right ones. Well, oh, that's because we're in the wrong book. This is why I said this is a live recording, because I'm not going to go back and correct the hiccups and the pauses here. I'm just scanning through book 1 now because, well, frankly, I can. And this is why I have the reference, because I can't remember everything. So I write it down to make sure I do. So I can find it again. And, well, oh, okay, that is not the term. Must have been a different one I was looking at. But, that being said, they do eat carrion, they do eat, they eat a lot of whatever is available, and yes, they are cannibalistic as well. And now it dawned on me which one I should have been dealing with. But that's okay. Going back down to the 2. Whoop. Not the Kinlar, there we are. Yep, I was right. The term I was looking at was detritus. Okay, which really boils down to they will eat compost. If it's available, they will eat it. Okay, they don't necessarily like it. It's not their preferred diet, but it does mean they won't starve to death. Which, again, couple aggression, dexterity, and basically refuse. Okay, they can eat pretty much whatever's available. For those of you that like the Tolkien series, these guys have a these guys have a digestive system that makes an orc's digestive system look mild. Okay, all in all, that's what you're looking at with the Kinlar. Okay, and as I said, I will be getting that picture done shortly. That'll be on the next set that's being worked on. Right now, my artist is working on five other pictures, because I am working at getting them all together, and as I get them in place, I will put them into the book, so that when I get them all done, then I will have a second printing available where the actual pictures will be involved, instead of just the descriptions. Okay. Now, in all fairness, much as they're very aggressive, there are some of them that are very calm, very passive, if you will. Okay. And once you find one that is relatively passive, this does not mean they're a pushover. It means they have much better emotional control over what they're going after. Okay, some of them have phenomenal personalities, but you just got to remember they do have a tendency of being aggressive. Okay, you just have to realize that side of it and understand. If you talk to them, if you deal with them with honor, with respect, assuming you don't have something that they really desire to have, everything works out fine. And bear in mind, not all Kinlar are absolutely bloodthirsty, just the massive majority of them. It's kind of like all lemmings are not suicidal. Okay, just the massive majority of them. And so, again, when we look at things, understand no species, no race can be dumped under one complete umbrella. There are exceptions to every rule. Okay, the one thing that seems to be solid is that they grow up. As they grow up, they do learn very strongly that might is right, but they are aware that might is not always a physical thing. Intellect, being strong intellectually, is a critical benefit. Okay, whether it's physically, dexterously, intellectually, creatively, doesn't matter. Find something you're good at and go after that as a priority. Now, don't kid yourself. Many people think that, especially with humans, if you're creative, you're not aggressive. Don't make that mistake with Kinlar. Okay, Kinlar don't take insults well. Okay, if you tell a Kinlar that is really proud of his artwork, that he produced garbage, no matter what your station, he will try and kill you. And more often than not, in a case like that, he's likely to succeed. Because don't forget, the artists, the ones that are now able to sit back and do the artwork, do the technological advancement, okay, these are the ones that have gotten and that have attained enough control over themselves to be able to do these things. Now, on that note, I'm going to bring this to a close. Hopefully that helps, and that helps with understanding the Kinlar. I will be getting more of these out under the Races of the World subset. Okay, sorry for taking so long, got way sidetracked on way too many things. In any event, I will talk to you again, and the next time, it'll be somebody new. So, until then, take care of yourselves and each other, and for pity's sakes, stay positive.